and thank you for tuning into the AAU TV news coming to you from the headquarters of the Association of African Universities in Accra, Ghana. My name is Lydia Nyame.
And I am Agyeman Okyere Darko.
And now the headlines on higher education. Ugandan teachers express concerns over degree requirement. And also first woman to lead University of Ghana shares her vision.
And in our health news, a study suggests that men experience more emotional pain during breakups. And in our tech news, armed with apps, Gen Zs dive into a dizzy world of investing. We're glad you made time for us on the AAU TV Mid-Week news. Don't go anywhere, we'll bring you more news to the short break. Stay with us.
Welcome back from the break. And Uganda is implementing its 2019 National Teacher Policy that requires all teachers at all levels to have a bachelor degree in education as a minimum qualification. Now, about 500,000 teachers will be affected by the policy that aims to professionalize and improve the quality of teaching, but is also expected to trigger the indefinite closure of half of the 46 primary teacher colleges, PTCs, which are currently training teachers. Following the implementation of the National Teacher Policy, some affected teachers have argued that the process to obtain degrees will be too lengthy, costly and stressful, which might force some of them to leave the profession altogether. They stated that they want the government to reconsider and help every teacher to upgrade based on his or her individual existing qualification. To operationalize the policy, the Uganda National Institute of Teacher Education, UNITE, and that Kiyambogo University has been created to supervise teacher education programs in all higher education institutions learning in the country. The new policy also requires all universities already offering a Bachelor of Education degree to collaborate with UNITE. Jonathan Kamwana, the Commissioner in charge of Teacher Education and Training at the Uganda Ministry of Education and Sports, said in admission of students, an estimated 9,200 to some PTCs has been suspended, and all students intending to pursue degrees in education will be enrolled at the national teachers' colleges. About 1,380 tutors in 26 PTCs to be closed will lose their jobs. The PTCs will be turned into secondary schools, scaling centers, depending on the needs of the areas they are located, said Kamwana. Well, there we have it. Uganda implementing its 2019 National Teacher Policy, which seems to phase out all teachers and lecturers without a bachelor's degree.
Sure.
Now, I'll come to you quickly, Agyeman, but I would want to first of all state something here, that the government of Uganda says the policy will be implemented in a phased manner to give underqualified teachers up to 10 years to meet new requirements. But before we come to there, I want us to throw more light on the policy first and then its benefit.
Well, I think it's an applaudable policy. Looking at the outlook of the policy, it is right. I mean, ADG goal number 4 about quality education talks about ways and means that that can be deployed by countries to ensure that teaching and learning is quality, and quality is also context defined. You can't really tell what quality for me or for you. Perhaps about how it's fit for purpose is where you can say quality is. And to them, they realize that teacher quality is important, and also professionalism is also a key. So they are deploying this policy to ensure that they structure their teaching quality and also bring into some professionalism into teachers, which I think on the whole is applaudable and it's good. I mean, we all want to have a professional and quality teaching arena all over the continent. So I applaud it on its face value.
Okay, well, that's a good one. But I would also want us to assess the conditions availed by government towards teachers in fulfillment of this policy.
I think that's where the debate, the argument all lies.
I didn't know this was about a debate.
Oh yeah, you know, I think that the people of Uganda, especially teachers, are not happy with how government is rolling out the policy. The 2019 policy is now finding its fruition in 2021. Tells you that perhaps in the beginning had faced some agitations, which perhaps caused delayed its implementation up to today. But now government is also taking the bull by the horn without the needed stakeholder engagement that is expected. We have so many stakeholders in Uganda, more particularly the chairperson, the head of the Ministry of the University of Makerele's section of education.
Okay.
Mr. Zaragoza.
Okay.
Who is saying that the needed stakeholder engagement that had to be done prior to this was not done. And this policy, according to his knowledge and his office and his capacity, lacks the needed research and evidence to make it much more solid of a case. And there are more further arguments that
Agyeman, don't you think that the fact that government is not in a haste to roll out this policy, government is actually doing that in a space of 10 years, which basically gives all of these unqualified teachers the chance to enroll in school, to get themselves qualified alone, sort of gives the idea that government is considering these teachers?
You see, I don't know how they feel when they hear you calling them unqualified. Now unqualified.
Oh, I mean, that is what the policy says. That is what the policy says.
Because they are being tasked to now upgrade their status to form whatever it was.
Which I don't think it's a bad thing. Because we have teachers with O levels and A-level teaching students. I understand that there are people who are naturally born with teaching skills, but knowing something is different from knowing exactly how to impact knowledge in people. You can be brilliant, but you need to enroll in an education, or you need to go to school, you need to further it to be able to impact knowledge in people, which is why when we were kids in primary and in GHS, you realize that our friend teachers were doing all they could, but we were not picking it up. Why? This is because our friend teachers, we were only recruiting teachers who could only speak French. We were not recruiting teachers who could teach and instill knowledge. So they come to the class and just go through the normal French that they know without actually teaching. So I think this is a step in the right direction.
So you have the likes of Jonathan Kamwana in Uganda, who is the head of the Ugandan Higher Education Commission community, one of the heads, saying that he believes that it is not about the qualification that makes a difference in teaching quality. It's rather the skill. I mean, some people are really rich in teaching skills. They have unique pedagogies that they deploy in teaching, but they don't have a degree. So are you saying that all the products that the university had produced a decade ago or 2 decades ago are all inferior because they didn't have degrees? Today you are telling them that it takes a degree to merit quality teaching skills. It takes a degree for you to be able to be professional. But O-level, A-level people as they are, you are telling people who are teaching at the primary level, senior high school level, or to upgrade to a common level as their minimum qualification to ensure that they are professional and they prove the quality of their teaching. I think that is a bit more
Agyeman, as part of their concerns, the teachers mentioned the fact that they were not paid too well. I would want to find out if with this policy, government has made provision that once these teachers upgrade themselves to get their degrees, they are assured of a bigger salary.
They could have applauded government's action if that was the case. I want to say upon authority on the matter that will be solved from the article, and as of now, if there's any change in government's arrangement towards the teachers in Uganda that really have an incentive package for you, if you're able to complete your 4-year degree and then you would have a degree, I'm going to upgrade your conditions of service and also increase your salary. I think that they would run and go acquire a degree within 10 years. But they are remaining, according to Kamwana, they are remaining at where they are in their salaries. Nothing is happening. But you are required for a degree, which is costly. It has its own cost implications. It has its own time implications. And they are still teaching. Not like they are going on study leave. They are teaching and also upgrading, which is a whole lot of burden on these teachers. I think that in as much as you are looking at upgrading a system, you have to think about their welfare and find a way to broker a safe ground for them so that they could have the confidence, because now they are all shaky. Every teacher in Uganda is shaky because they believe that government is claiming or is requiring us that if we don't get a degree by this time, we're going to lose our relevance, which I think is unfair, because for many years ago, it is the O-level, A-level that had produced all the people that you are having in Uganda. So now, if you have tried to introduce a whole new system, phase it out gradually.
Agyeman, I mean, there's this one thing that I would want to find out. What is the appropriate qualification for university lecturers? Because while Mozambique is raising the bar by replacing lecturers who have a bachelor degree with those with PhD and masters, Uganda seems to be doing otherwise. They seem to be okay with the degree lecturers and teachers. What should be the appropriate qualification for university lecturers? I think we can end with that.
Yeah, I must say that we don't have any stipulated qualification for any level. However, it is always good that as the world grows and evolves, people also grow with the evolution. So if you used to have a postgraduate degree and now you go and then get a PhD, it is in the right direction because you are also growing yourself. Quality assurance, systemic and also personal wise, you are growing yourself in the system. But it's not good for you to be laid back. I mean, I'm not saying that it's good to have an O level as at now for teaching. You should have gone ahead to a degree, even a PhD. And it's all help the system to grow. So it's, as well as it's good, the appropriate means of application is where the issue is. So I think government should have a one-on-one talk with these teachers and find a way that they could all upgrade to that level appropriately without any burden.
That's all. Well, meanwhile, the first female vice chancellor of University of Ghana, Professor Nanaba Appiah-Amfo, has said that her role as vice chancellor would be for the university to train students who are critical thinkers, technologically adept, humane, culturally sensitive, and ready to provide leadership for the country and the continent to develop 21st century citizenry skills.
Professor Nanaba Appiah-Amfo shared this vision at her induction as Vice Chancellor on 26 October of the 73-year-old institution set up as the University College of the Gold Coast, an affiliate of the University of London, and which became the University of Ghana after independence. The linguistics professor and experienced higher education manager promised to create a culture that promotes research, teaching and learning, administrative process, and extension activities driven by technology and anchored in humanism. She identified key strategic objectives to drive the institution to achieve its vision of attaining world-class research institutional status, which include reinvigorating impactful research in the applied sciences and humanities, developing technology-driven and robust processes in research management, teaching and learning, and all other institutional processes. In addition, Professor Amfo wants to strengthen traditional revenue streams and expand alternative income sources. She also proposed to harness bountiful talent within the university community for the collective good through the promotion of creativity and innovation in teaching and learning. She promised that classrooms will be modernized to allow for the use of modern pedagogical aids, which permits, among other things, capture lectures to reuse in non-contact situations, and faculty of Legon will receive continuous training in modern pedagogical skills.
Okay, there we also have it from the University of Ghana, the first female vice chancellor of UG. I think this is the first time we are having a story on her, right?
Yeah.
So let's use the opportunity to congratulate her.
Exactly. You know, I also want to say big gaps and also a great step for women in Africa to step up to big positions and also try and make a change. That's a game changer right there.
Well, that's true. You know, let's quickly talk about her vision, the key ones, and how these key visions seeks to address problems facing higher education in Africa.
I think it's on point because one of the lacking issues that we find lingering around in the African continent, even in Ghana, so worldwide, in the African continent, is about how we can create a hub of creative and innovative graduates who are self-initiative, self-empowered, very self-monitored, and they are the ones creating solutions, not the ones who are waiting to be told what to do at all times. And with that attitude, we can't go anywhere. And with that vision, I can see an Africa where young people will now come out already prepared to solve issues, which they've already studied at a far point on campus, and now they are coming to provide solutions. And that's what the private sector, the public sector, and all the sectors are requiring.
Okay. Professor Amfo mentioned that it was important to groom the next generation of leaders at the University of Ghana through actively involving them in university governance and management, and by facilitating structured leadership and management training programs through the new Legon Leadership Academy plan. This is also something that she looks forward to implementing. What do you make of this statement and this initiative?
Yeah, you recall that mostly when universities are producing their graduates at a point of where we pay the pathways, mostly some universities have what we call the master classes.
Yeah.
So it's a professional forum, let's say, where all graduates gather and then they have an interaction with the experts in the industry. So you can have an industry you wish to endeavor or let's say pursue, and you have an expert in that field coming to tell you what to repair, how they started and how they got there. So you can also have a level ground to springboard you all the way to the court of success.
Yeah.
That is what she's looking at to do.
Okay.
Maybe University of Ghana had other ways of doing it, but she's bringing a whole new system that really gets you close to the experts, and perhaps will be your biggest break to the industry. So big ups to that idea, and I think all universities in Africa should try and then enhance that industry academic relationship the very best way you can, and give your students that exposure, because that exposure that makes them stars on the job market.
Okay, well, students deserve to be given exposure because that exposure is what makes them stars on the job market. Now health news is up next.
You're welcome back to AAU TV News, and a new study of online relationship support finds that men tend to experience emotional pain more than women when their relationship takes a turn for the worse.
Despite the common notion that men are less emotionally invested in relationships, a new study has found that breakups might be harder on men than women. The findings, based on an analysis of relationship posts in an online forum by over 184,000 people, say that men tend to experience greater emotional pain than women when their relationships go sour. The researchers created a map of the most common relationship problems to understand discussions in the online forum. Words like regret, breakup, cry, and heartbroken were used the most by people to discuss heartache-related feelings. Published in the Journal of Social and Personal Relationships, the study found communication problems to be the most common relationship issue mentioned, followed by trust issues. It was also found that men were more likely to seek relationship help than women in online settings in order to preserve anonymity. The team explained that this could be due to the traditional social stigmas against men for seeking help and sharing their emotions.
So there we have it. This is quite controversial of a study, but because it's you and I over here, we'll find a way to level it up.
Okay.
I bet to differ on this one, but do you think that for some reasons men tend to lose a lot emotionally when it comes to breakups, and why do you think so?
This is actually the part where I would have to side with our viewers and turn the question back to you and ask you if you feel more emotional pain during breakups than your girlfriend, your wife, whoever that is.
My ex is watching, so it's very hard to express to the fullest though, but
okay.
I think that, to be very fair to the case, the study made some very salient points about who invests so much into the relationship.
Okay.
And I wouldn't want to say that men invest much more time or women or attention or care, but I mean, men give love, women give respect, and it reciprocates all the way through. But it gets to a point where men feel tough. I feel tough that, hey, if you want to break up, I feel tough. But later on, when I feel lonely, when loneliness gets to me enough, I then begin to now feel the pain that, oh, if she was here, at least would have gone out to for.
So you only feel the pain when you are lonely?
No, I would say that no, the pain is more of like longitudinal. It wouldn't be instant. I think women, yours.
No, I know. I mean, I think if men do feel emotional pain during breakup when they are lonely, then I don't think the study is doing justice to this whole thing.
No, not really when they are lonely.
I'm quoting you by your own words.
Yeah, I'm actually expressing from my point of view, my opinion, and also trying to generalize the case that it's more of like a longitudinal effect.
Okay.
So for women, it's instant. The very first 3 days of breakup, you want to commit suicide, but when you get someone just
I don't want to commit suicide.
No, not you.
Okay.
Someone out there. but you just want to just kill yourself, or get rid of yourself because you feel that you've lost a lot of the relationship that didn't see itself to the point you dreamed it would be. But now you are at the point where you were trying to just gain that encouragement. So for a short while, you get over it. But for the men, it's longitudinal. Later on, after a while, we think we are stronger. We think that we've conquered the relationship. We are actually going out stronger. But surprisingly, we'll now begin to feel lonely. That I think we've been so lonely for a while. We need a companion. We're not getting one. Then we begin to regret.
You know, Agyeman, I think I'll just cut you short. Okay.
Begin to regret.
No, I'll cut you short because, you know, who decides who ends up with the more emotional pain? Because I think mostly it's about who invests the most. By invest, I don't mean money. Yes, money can come in, but I mean emotional investment.
Yeah, you know,
who does that?
So I can't really quantify because it's quite hard to quantify who gives him much more time. I know women are very.
But now I think until we are able to quantify that, we really cannot say that men do feel more emotional pain than women.
The study does it right when it says men feel more pain because it is longitudinal.
That's what you think.
If for the next 5 years without you, I'm going to feel so sad that if she was here, you would feel like that in a short while. Oh, if he was here, in a short while, you get over it. But I'll forever remember you and say, if you were here, and that is so much pain to bear.
You know, I would have agreed with you if you had started this whole conversation from the point of view where men most times like to keep things in, because we all know that communicating to people, talking to people, expressing your how you feel sometimes relieves you of the pain. But men always want to behave like I'm strong, I'm the hard guy, so we keep it in. So if you are talking about it from that perspective, then perhaps I would give your opinion some sort of consideration. But from what you're saying that men do feel emotional pain when they are lonely, then I don't think that is emotional pain.
Lonely in the case that at that point they have no companion to even interact with and share that let's say unpleasant or let's say heartbreak story with. Because if they do share with somebody, then they are able to offset the pain and they go free. But since they have no one, they are lonely, they keep it with themselves, they lament to themselves that, oh, if she was here, now you have no one to first share the issue with, and you were alone, and you are lamenting, and you're so look crying, you are just talking to yourself. That is enough pain to bear. So I think that it's in the right direction where I say that
it's not
longitudinally.
It really isn't. It really isn't, because I think it's about who invests the most. So in certain relationships, it could be the lady. In other relationships, it could be the man. But I don't think I would agree if the study says men are the ones who feel the most emotional pain.
But I think that if you are to get statistics on who really feels pains, it should be women. Yes. So in this case, I would disagree with the study, but I want to try and then agree at a point which I think it works.
You know, just because in your experience you had like a lot of emotional pain doesn't mean all men do go through that.
They do, men. They do. No,
men, do you?
That is why you mentioned the fact that we are not so open to discuss. Because I mean, it's a shame. Some people think it's a shame to go and tell someone about your relationship matters because you broke up. I mean, you are a man. Keep it to yourself.
Certainly.
But keeping it to yourself over a long period of time will cause you so much pain that a woman who now shares with someone and then she's being consoled. So that's where I think it stems from.
Well, I still hold on to what I think, that women sometimes do feel more emotional pain than men. And then other times, men also do feel more emotional pain than women. I'm really not going to agree with this study.
Anyway, it's up to further scrutiny.
Yeah.
So now next story, which is technology. There's a new generation of investors in town. They are young, they get their tips on YouTube, and they are armed with apps that make the stock markets more accessible than ever before. So from Nigeria to India, all over the world, the Gen Zs are flocking to homegrown investment apps.
There is a new generation of investors in town. They are young, they get their tips from YouTube, and they are armed with apps that make the stock markets more accessible than ever before. From Nigeria to India, the Gen Z, as they're called, are flocking the homegrown investment apps.
You can get started, run your account and start trading in less than 10 minutes. It's the same thing with several other apps like that. So they make it easier for you. And again, like especially for cryptocurrencies, that like you can easily transact, you can easily make transactions overseas. So instead of having to go to the bank and then queuing and then say maybe you want a domiciliary account or instead of all that, just get a cryptocurrency exchange, open it, start using USDT, and you can send money anywhere.
Nigeria's economic hub, Lagos, has long been known for its hustle and celebration of success, but the weakness of the naira currency has put extra pressure on youth to make cash as the cost of living has rocketed.
There's not much of the use for that in Nigeria because a CBDC has to work on internet infrastructure. And in a country where just a little over half of the population has access to stable internet, then your CBDC isn't going to be useful.
Also in India, Upstock and online stock trading says that 80% of its users are 35 or under.
Like quite friendly with the markets. We can easily buy and sell shares and trade without any major issues. They don't lag, they don't have any technical glitches, and while trading you need to execute at the right time so you don't miss the move, right? So all these apps make trading a happy journey.
Trading apps have lowered the barriers to entry for youngsters in part by offering fractional trade. But critics say they could also make it easier for inexperienced young investors to get into hot water.
So there we have it right there with the Gen Zs and their magnificent inclination to online applications that makes money for them. But Lydia, what do you think about this? The Gen Zs and what they're really in pursuit for, making so much money using technology, especially fintechs, using our mobile phone apps. What's your view towards it? Is it the way to go?
Well, Agyeman, I think these people are doing themselves a great disservice. Okay. One, by allowing others use them for their own gain. And by others, I mean these app developers. Sure. Because anytime you download their apps, you actually give them a lot of money. And then in turn, you put yourself at risk and at a higher risk of being charged with, cyber crime. Sure. Because one, you put in your data. Remember, the developer did not put in their data. You did. You've got your name there, you've got your contact details, everything about you. So I think they are doing themselves a great disservice.
And also, notwithstanding what you're saying, there's a myriad of threats available in these applications and what they offer for these users. Okay. Particularly, is the risk involved. You know, you are dealing with some very strange ways of making money. The virtual way of doing money, cryptocurrency, forex trade, the Binance, and all of these have their own risk attached. For example, recently in Ghana, a young lady who actually took her own life through suicide because she had invested so much chunk of money owing to her friends and family and church members to a forex trade facility, which ended up sunk. And in this case, who do you blame? Who do you report to? Even some of these applications are not even approved by the Bank of Ghana, the banks, the national banks, basically. So you are working with an application to make money, and even your national bank is not even endorsing the application. But it is a whole generation used to making money through these means. And
Agyeman, you mentioned that who do you blame? I think we have to blame the current global economy. And we also have to blame it on the fact that the youth of today are greedy. Yeah. They are greedy that no matter how much they have, instead of investing it into something legit that you probably get your profit step by step, we want to invest it in a place where we'll get our returns back quickly. Yes, we know our economy is not good. Globally, every country is suffering from a whole lot of things in their own ways. So sometimes the economy also sort of forces you to engage yourself in certain things because no matter how hard or bad the economy is, you need to survive. So much as we are blaming it on greed, we also need to know that the currency our current economy also sort of influences people to engage themselves in such acts.
You know, I agree with you, but I think I'll call them a whole generation of persevering young people who really want to explore. Because I think, from my point of view, I would have been a laggard to all these applications for making money. But they are first movers. They see no risk. But the issue is they have to tread cautiously with responsibility. Because if you're not responsible for what you're doing, or let's say if you don't really acquire more knowledge into what you're doing, you end up losing a lot of funds through some very strange ways of making money. Money making isn't a wrong thing, I must say, but how you make it, and you must be informed. Don't just go in blindly. Go informed, like a young lady who I mean, unfortunately and sadly took her life. I don't know if she was informed of some of the remedies. If you happen to lose your money, the interest or the principal, you lost everything. I mean, these are monies you took from people, and here you are. Who are you seeing for a refund? So, I mean, these things are things that we should be checking that. It's not wrong to invest, but it is wrong when you are less informed about what you're investing in and how to get your money back in case you lose your investment. I think that should be done very well.
That is all for the news, and in wrapping up, let's take a quick recap of our headlines. On higher education, Ugandan teachers express concerns over degree requirement. And also, first woman to lead University of Ghana shares her vision.
In our health news, we had a study suggests that men experience more emotional pain during breakups. And in our tech segment, armed with the apps, Gen Zs dive into a dizzy world of investment.
And now, thank you very much for staying with the AAU TV News as we keep you informed. My name is Lydia Nyame.
And my name is Agyeman Okyere Darko. We're glad you made time to join us at AAU TV News. Keep watching us. Have a safe time. Have a nice time. Be safe and bye.